So the number of 3D printers on the market is exploding. And the question I have to ask myself are the printers I have good enough, or do I need to look at something else in scaling my operation? Now, I've talked before about the trap of just getting more printers saying that you're doing it because you're scaling your operation. But I think I have one here that really has caught my attention, and I'd like to discuss it today. So the machine that caught my attention, it's the Snapmaker U1. Because this machine is a little different from any of the other machines I had to this point. And so the thought of trying to scaling and taking everything to the new level became a little more interesting. So in this video, what I want to do is take a look at it. First, we'll go through the unboxing process and then talk about the things that make the Snapmaker U1 different, and then compare it to the machines I have in there, the Bambu A1 and P1S and the Anycubic Cobra X. And then we'll talk about some other tool head changer machines and see where this fits in the process. And then when we're all said and done, we'll come back and ask the question, is this machine a smarter way of scaling up your small 3D print shop? So once we started unboxing this thing, it didn't take long to realize that this was going to be a more in-depth procedure than the putting together like the Cobra X, which is slam on the gantry, plug in some cables, and you're good to go. So when we started doing this, I was very impressed by the packaging. They did a very good job of packaging it. But the one thing I'll say is, if you like taking off tape during the process, you will love unboxing the Snapmaker U1, because there is a lot of tape involved in it. And the other thing I'll say that I really liked was their user guide, their startup guide, which comes with it, which has very in-depth, lots of pictures, very good, made it very simple to put it together. It came with some spools of filament and a tool kit. Now here you see us putting the tool heads on there. They just slide into position. And once you have them in position, then you start attaching the power cables, the little gantry that holds the PTFE tube, and putting the PTFE tube into it. So this process took us about 45 minutes to complete the setup to the point of powering it on. It was a fun process to get to know how this printer works. So we power it on, and then it has some calibrations, like 25 minutes. So let's talk about the construction of the U1. First thing I'll say is the U1 is what's called a Core XY printer. So the bed plate in there does not move forward and back like on the A1 or the Cobra X, which are considered bed slingers. It just moves up and down to meet the nozzle of the tool. So looking at the frame, it looks decent construction. However, you can tell there's a plastic outside, which, fairly sturdy, but still could be a problem. In fact, in the instructions, when you were putting on the spool holders for the filaments, it said to press on the inside to keep from cracking the case. The second thing is the bed plate. The bed plate is 270 by 270 by 270, which is larger than the A1 and the P1S, which are at 256 cubes. So you get a little larger plate for creating your prints. The next thing is to talk about how this multiple tool head works. So up here in front, you've got the gantry that comes in, pops into whichever color filament tool head it wants to bring out, slides into it. It has a magnet in it, connects up to it, and just slides it out and brings it, does the print. When it's done with that color, slides it back in, goes over to the next color. 15 to 20 seconds time between different color changes, which is part of the reason why it can be so much faster, because the the A1, the P1S, it can take up to a minute or more to switch colors, to do all the purge and everything. But the one thing you see here is that this chamber is an open chamber. What does that mean? That means the P1S is a closed chamber, which means you can heat up the bed and the chamber to a higher temperature and do more industrial type filaments like ASA and ABS. This can't do that. However, you can, Snapmaker does sell cover for this, which is another $150 on top of this. But there are enterprising people that figured out that there's an size IKEA bucket, which you can put over this and 3D print a rim around it to lock it into position, so you can create a closed chamber. Now, I said it can't do ASA or ABS, but it can do TPU. In fact, it can do multiple material prints. So you can do PETG and TPU together with this, which is a very nice addition. So as far as some of the other features of it, the screen right up in here front, still better than a P1S. I still do not like that one, but it's a good screen, easy to operate locally. There's an app, again, for this to operate it. And then the slicer. The slicer is based on the Orca slicer, which is very, very similar to the Bambu slicer. But again, you have another program to be open to do prints on Snapmaker versus a Bambu printer. And for me, a problem I've run into is that I have a Linux computer, and it says there's a Linux version of the slicer, and I still haven't been able to get that loaded. So I've operated on a Windows laptop, and that's fine, but that's one problem that I've noted with this printer. Now, last week I did a comparison of speed and filament waste between an A1 and the Cobra X. I printed the little dog keychain animal from Mattmeyer. Just to print the one on the A1 took just over 9 hours. For the Cobra X, it took about just over 6 hours. And again, the Snapmaker 2 was the same way, so it's a increased speed for doing color prints. Now again, the way you can alleviate that on A1 or P1 is printing multiple items on the print, so it'll reduce the percentage of waste that you have. You can look at the slicer settings, you can do other things, but right out of the box, this can do that, give you that speed increase. The second thing is the filament waste. Now, I look at my poop bucket that we have behind the P1S, and it just saddens me how much waste there is that's involved in this. For example, this is printing it on the A1. So the purge tower was 18 grams, the purge was 71 grams, and this little guy was about 19 grams. So essentially you had about just over 80% waste of the filament used to print this one thing. For the Cobra X, now we have the purge tower, instead of being 19, was 13.4, and the purge was 61.6. So still, to me, a significant amount, but still less than the A1. So, come down to print the same thing on the Snapmaker U1. There's the purge tower, 13 grams. And here are the 3 pieces of printer poop. So essentially less than a gram of printer poop. So in this example, we were down to about 45% waste instead of 80. So this makes me very happy, because did I tell you about my printer poop bucket and how it frustrates me? So that's the reason I really enjoy I think I'm going to enjoy the Snapmaker U1. So continuing on with this comparison, I don't think it's proper to compare it to the A1. I think the proper comparison is compare this to the P1S, which is also a Core XY printer. So here's a chart that I put together, kind of looking at the comparisons. Again, first thing to talk about is the filament waste. Did I tell you about my printer poop bucket? Anyway, the P1S takes anywhere for a minute or more to do a color swap between different colors. Whereas on here, on the Snapmaker, it's 15 to 20 seconds. So greatly increase the speed of a color print and vastly decreases the waste. Now, the other point I want to make on the speed, I say the Snapmaker is faster, but that is for color. If you look at the specs, they're both the P1S and the Snapmaker U1 are rated for the same speed. So if you did a single color, you would have very similar results from both these printers. So the reason you get faster speed is from multicolor prints. And another misnomer, I think, is that you hear them use the word that you have zero waste on this. Well, that's not exactly true, because you still have your prime tower, which is required when you're pulling the head from one color to the other. You have to prime it and get it up to pressure before you start printing on your print. So you're going to have a little bit of waste, but it's not to the level that you'd have on the P1S. Second thing is, when I talked about it before, was the bed size. This is 270 by 270 by 270, whereas the P1S is 256 by 256 by 256. So again, you get a little larger print size with the Snapmaker U1. Next thing I've talked about is open chamber versus a closed chamber. So with the P1S, you can reach higher bed temperatures and nozzle temperatures, which allows you to print more industrial filaments, such as the ASA and ABS, which you cannot do on the P1. But what on the U1. But what the U1 can do is you can use this for TPU, and so you can print either straight TPU or you can print multi-filament type prints. The P1S is made for more rigid filaments. Now there is things about an AMS, a TPU AMS filament that you can use. There's questions about that, so I'm not going to delve into that. And the last thing to talk about is Bambu versus Snapmaker. Bambu has set the standard that everyone is following. Now they're starting to catch up faster, but it's a closed system. The good comparison is Apple. So your Macs and iPhones and all that, those are very dependable systems. Same with the Bambu. So if you like that and dependability is what you want, the Bambu set is probably the better choice. Now, the Snapmaker U1 is brand new. In fact, when it came out, they did a pledge campaign to get it going, and they got $20 million, which is more than any printer. So this has caused a lot of hype because of the multi-tool head capabilities at a more commercial grade price. So that's just a comparison between the P1S and the Snapmaker U1. Now again, it's a good comparison, but I think you need to also talk about other multiple tool head systems. For example, Prusa XL, one of the first big companies, has a large bed multi-tool head, which is open, so it's not a contained system either, like this one. But that one goes in the price range of $3,800. Now Bambu has their version, which is which is a bed about 320 by 330 by 325. So again, larger than this one, a closed system. Instead of a multi-tool head, it's a multi-nozzle. So the nozzles are along the side and the tool head comes in and it pops in and it does the printing. So again, a high quality printer with Bambu quality. But this one goes for $2,400. So this one here right now is listed for $899. So the question is, when you're looking at these printers, you know, if you want to get into the multi-tool head, which I think is going to be gaining a lot of traction, you see more companies start to come out with this. But this is a good one for if you're looking a smaller one and you want to get into the multi-tool head concept. Now, if you're just looking for a beginning printer, this may not be the one for you. Last week I talked about the Anycubic X1, which was under $300. It allows you to get in at a lower price. But if you're looking to expand, you've got 1 to 4 printers and you're looking to add one on, this might be a consideration. Well, there you have it. There's my review of the Snapmaker U1. And if you can't tell, I'm very excited for the possibilities it presents. But more importantly, it's what do you think? Do you see this as something you can use? Again, I say it's probably not for the beginner to get one of these, but once you have a few, I think there's a lot of possibilities. And also my charge to you is to keep up with all the news in the 3D printer world, because there are a lot of changes going on and lots of possibilities all the time. So thanks for listening. If you liked what you saw here, give me a like and a subscribe. If you have some comments about what I presented, please put them down in the comments below. And until next time, take care.